On behalf of UMS-Wright faculty, staff, and board of trustees, welcome to all of our graduates' families, as well as all of the other guests that we have here tonight. This is a very special evening, honoring a very special group of young ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin the commencement exercises, I ask that you join me in thanking two groups who have already passed through the auditorium, although they did not stop. But they worked very hard to make sure that the mission of this school is achieved, and they do a lot more than is expected of them in terms of contractual agreements or just some kind of professional obligation. So if you would, join me in giving a round of applause to our board of trustees and faculty. And then also, I would like to recognize someone who has worked diligently this past year, Mr. Angus Cooper III, who is now our UMS-Wright Board Chairman. Mr. Cooper's passion for this school, his unselfish devotion of his time, and I really think a limitless energy supply have all played a major role in the enormous progress that we've made at the school during the 2014-15 school year. He is very much representative of our governing body and also the faculty and staff. So Mr. Cooper, if you'd stand, let's give him a round of applause. Tonight, we're going to have some opening remarks about the class of 2015 from someone who knows them very well. Laura Roberts, UMS-Wright's Arts Department Chair, has had a very special relationship with this class during their years at UMS-Wright. She loves them very deeply, and I'm convinced that that emotion is shared by the members of the class of 2015. Ms. Roberts?
Dr. Madden. Ms. Roberts, will you remember us in 20 years? A couple of you were sitting in my office when a student from 20 plus years prior came by on an admissions tour. I, of course, was overjoyed to see her with her precious little ones, and then when I returned to our conversation, you asked, Ms. Roberts, will you remember us in 20 years? I remember at the time thinking, well, sure, I remembered your father when you walked in my door 20 years after I taught him. But instead of comparing a teen to his father, I simply assured, well, of course I will. How could I forget you? Memories, lessons learned, welcoming arms, and coming home. Thank you for your eloquent speeches and your soaring melodies at baccalaureate service the other night. I speak for all the people out here when I say we are truly proud of you, and yes, we will remember you in 20 years. Yet my story begs a larger question for each of you. How will you be remembered? What will you do that says, I was here? You will notice me. I will be leaving my mark like initials carved on an old oak tree. Maybe I'll write like Twain wrote. Maybe I'll paint like Van Gogh. Cure the common cold. I don't know. I want to do something that matters. Something that sets the whole world on its ear. Leave nothing less than something that says, I was here. As these Lady Antebellum lyrics filled airwaves in middle school, a class mom spearheaded a fun project entitled Up Close and Personal, in which all of the classmates shared how they would be making their marks 25 years from then. Let's dwell in those possibilities. 33% of you plan to be married with family and pets, married with just pets, or married with kids. And one of you said, I see myself with 3 kids, one of each. Once you're married with families and or pets, 20% of you plan to live in big houses or mansions, one 5 stories tall. Unfortunately, 2 of your classmates plan to be architects, and 2 aspiring interior designers will make your mansions worthy of a Southern living spread. When you plan your family activities, you'll have grand connections with 2 pro baseball players, 1 pro football player on TV, and the next Michael Phelps, but a girl. When your children begin their activities, you'll have inside sources, cheerleading and gymnastics coaches, 2 dance teachers, and a women's basketball coach who'll be living in California. Of course, to be involved in all of these activities, you'll need medical clearance. Not to worry, you have 2 doctors, a dentist, an orthodontist, and 2 surgeons on call, and 3 nurses, one of whom will live happily ever after. Engineers, fashion designers, actors, singers, pilots, teachers, a police officer, and veterinarians enhance the list, as well as TV personalities on the Food Network and the Outdoor Channel. And Dr. Habbard, for future jet graduation planning, you can seek advice from our very own NBC meteorologist. One of you plan to have a program to help environmental crises. And one aspiring surgeon noted, a surgeon has to be smart and get a lot of money. It's not all about the money. It's if you love doing what you do. Clearly, you plan to make your marks in a big way. As you remember from English, life on the proverbial Mississippi River tain't easy. So whether you tackle this journey ahead in Tom and Huck fashion or Aunt Polly style, you'll discover what you love if you follow Mark Twain's advice. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than the things you did. So throw off the boat lines, sail away from the safe harbor, explore, dream, discover. Vincent van Gogh lived in the wonder of dreams. His paintings like Starry Night evoke his sense of the wonder of Mr. God. Vincent preferred his first name. Always know people's names. Vincent preferred his first name. He struggled as an artist and he pined to be a minister. And each time discouragement threatened to destroy his spirit, he retreated to his painting and to his profound belief in infinity on high. We see the breath of God move through the air in his Starry Night. And in that breath, we sense his determination to rise above. And we are inspired by that. We are inspired to do something that matters. One must not be afraid of going wrong, Vincent wrote his brother Theo. One must not be afraid of making mistakes now and then. As we prepared for baccalaureate, I remembered my fear that we were going wrong by bringing Chrisanna here, and I pondered what she would have said in her speech. Like those of you who joined the class along the journey, she would have thanked all of you for your welcoming arms and your great friendship. She would also have said to save the planet, play the glad game, and run like a winner. Once again, I celebrated your warmth as a class because I remember telling Chrisanna's therapist and friend, Mr. Wiley, my clearly unfounded fear of moving her to UMS-Wright. Why? He asked. Well, she'll have a lot more walking to do, and what if she falls? You're right, he said. What if she falls? That's when I realized, well, I guess she'll pick herself up and keep going. That memory brought to mind that famous scene you all read in Shakespeare's Scottish play when Macbeth says, "What if we fail?" And Lady Macbeth responds, "We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail." Will it be hard when you move beyond those gates? Yes, indeed. But your classmate reminded you that's what life's about, fighting hard and being strong. As a class and individually, you know how to succeed. You've earned an average of $100,000 per person in scholarships, plus 5 team state championships, and a top score in Pearl state level assessment, as well as numerous individual accolades in arts and athletics. Yet, while these victories groceries taste sweet and the hardware impresses, you've also discovered that sometimes even your hardest work doesn't pay off with the trophy you want. Those are the opportunities to screw your courage to the sticking place. That is when you dig down deep to find the grit and determination that made you bulldogs, and you rise again. You've done it. Each time you felt there was nothing left, and you summoned from somewhere inside a blast outs of energy to edge out a runner, to block a big shot, to stretch across the goal line, solve for one more X, write one last STEM report, run a scene or a song one more time. That's when you discover who you really are. That's when you find out how you can make a difference. Luke reminds us from everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. In your speeches, your handshakes, your smiles, your words, you have thanked us for great gifts. And with those gifts, you have created incredible opportunities ahead. Dwell in the possibilities that Twain describes. Live in the wonder that Green, as Vincent showed us. You will always hold a special place in our hearts. Come home soon. Come home often. Come home 20 years from now. I won't be here, but I promise, wherever I am, I will remember you. And from the bottom of my heart, I assure you, if God is love, there's a powerful lot of God walking with you as you head out to do something that says, I was